support the violin like this. And your left hand is going to find its way onto the fingerboard. Now our left hand starts up here. This is called first position. And it's right up near the scroll of the violin. So your thumb is going to hook underneath, and then your fingers can lay down on the strings one at a time, and eventually we'll be able to use these to play different notes up and down the string. It's very important that you don't get pancake hands, so don't be tempted to flatten your hands against the instrument or flatten your wrist, because you won't be able to play very many notes if you do that. You need to imagine that there's a little mouse living in the palm of your hand. You don't want to squash the mouse, so to play different notes up and down the string. It's very important that you don't get pancake hands.
아, 이렇게
so
식으로
don't be
잡지
tempted to
말라고.
flatten your hands against the instrument or
이렇게
flatten your
공중에
wrist,
뜨지 말라고.
because you won't be able to play very many notes if you do that. You need to imagine that there's a little mouse living in the palm of your hand. You don't want to squash the mouse, so make sure you give him plenty of room. So your hands should feel nice and relaxed,
여기
and the
손가락을
only part
위주로
that is touching your
생각하라는
violin
거구나,
at
모든
the
손의
moment
감각을.
should be your thumb, which is hooked around the bottom of the fingerboard. Now, leaving your thumb here, let's use your first finger, that's the index finger, to pluck the strings from up here. Let's start on G. Keep trying that. See if you can move your index finger independently from the other fingers. And make sure you leave plenty of space for your little mouse to live on your hand. Now let's try the same thing on D. Great. Now A. And now E. Now make sure that you're not collapsing the other fingers while you do this. You want to keep them up and ready to play on the strings. G, D, A, E. And now let's go the other way, starting from the top to the bottom. E, A, D, and G. Now that is what I'd like you to practice this week. Just 5 or 10 minutes every day will do the trick. Make sure you get yourself somewhere where you can see, with a mirror in front of you, and somewhere where you're comfortable. And we're going to practice everything we learned today. You're going to practice setting up the violin with the shoulder rest. You're going to practice your rest position, holding the violin under your right arm. You're going to lift the violin onto your left shoulder and practice that really nice position we talked about. If you're feeling brave and ready to go for it, you can even try letting go of the violin and see if you can hold it in place using your chin and your shoulder. We're going to practice using the right hand to do pizzicato, remembering to keep our elbow lifted and our wrist above the strings. And then finally, we're going to practice with our left hand, doing pizzicato with our index finger. Now make sure your thumb is the only thing touching the violin until your fingers are ready to play. And remember to imagine the little mouse living on the palm of your hand to make sure you don't squash it against the violin. Remember, you can hold the violin with your right hand to support the weight, but if you're beginning to get more comfortable, you can let go with the right hand and just play with the left hand. If you begin to get really good at pizzicato with your index finger, try using one of your other fingers, like the second finger, or the third finger, or even the pinky finger, your fourth finger. Well done today, everybody. I know it's really tempting to move on as quickly as you can, but it's
엘던이래요, 엘던.